All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Emmerron. Whoopsie daisy. So sorry. Music got a little weird there. Hold up. Let me retry that. All right. Perfect. There we go. Hello, everyone. My name is Emmerron, and next to me over on this side of the screen, this is Diamond Dust. We are the Wireheads podcast. This is episode 9. We had a plan at the end of last episode. We thought today we were going to just talk about our favorite characters and such across the eras of Cyberpunk, ranging all the way back from the OG 2013, 2020 era, all the way up through 2077. And then RTG decided to ruin all of that. And
was it really a ruin?
They got in the way of my plans, Diamond. That's not okay. Yeah, no, I'm actually.
If you really think about it, it's going to be an enhancement once we talk about what it is.
It's true. So, for those of you who woke up today and felt a little off, and now you're looking at our little topic box there, and you say, "Am I having a stroke?" You are not. Those are letters. They do mean something. That is the Cyberpunk Edge Runners Mission Kit, CEMK. So we are talking about that thing today. Diamond actually went live a little earlier today to talk about it over on her channel. So those of you coming from her community, welcome. We might be rehashing some of what she discussed there. I have tasked her with covering the AMA that Jay Gray, the line manager for Cyberpunk Red, whom we have interviewed before on this podcast. He held one of those yesterday. He answered a shitload of information. I glanced at before this and I just said, Diamond, you know what this is, right? You've read this all? Yes, I have. Great. All right, Diamond, you're in charge of that. Because I don't.
We read through all the questions. It took 1 hour to get through. I'm not going to do it again.
No.
I'll bring up major things that were brought up during that. Now I think something, Emmerron, I just want to get out of the way because I have been asked it multiple times. And I think, other people are going to be asking. So I'm going to get, nice up here in the mic. All right. Now listen here, you primitive screwheads. That's a reference. All right. Listen up. The Cyberpunk Edge Runners Mission Kit has been sent to print as of this week. I want to clarify, it is not being released. We don't have a release date. No, you cannot pre-order it. It is set to release somewhere between mid to late June.
Barring production delay.
Yeah. With that being said, please do not ask any further on when it's coming out. Any further questions, please go check out Artalsoria's website or their Discord, because you'll find all the FAQ asked right over there, which we might even go over the FAQ as well, just to clarify.
I think it'll be in good it'd be in good spirit probably to do that. One final disclaimer I do want to add: no, Diamond and I do not know anything further than you guys do about it. We have not been presented with advanced copies. We have not seen the rules. We do not know what the hell David Martinez's Sandevistan looks like, other than to know that Jay has said, 1, it will be expensive, 2, it is going to be one of a kind, and 3, that more will be to come on that front, it sounds like, as with the rest of the mission kit.
And also deadly.
Oh, and also deadly.
Jay also said deadly.
Beautiful. But yeah, bottom line is Diamond and I are not purveyors of any kind of inside information here.
We do not speak on behalf of Artal either.
We do not. No, we are admins over in the server. That is as close to the sun as we get on this. So that said, we do have the press release. I am part of their media distribution list. So I do get that angle of things, and we will be talking about what's in there, because as Rob has mentioned many times, there are some fun things to be seen within that. So we will talk about that tonight. But yes, we don't know anything more than you guys do. We are getting the releases of information as you guys are, with the sole exception of whatever gets revealed to the media. I get to see that, and then I get to share it, which is what this is for. So, all that said, any more disclaimering you want to do, Diamond, before we dive into this?
Also on top of that, I think one other thing. For those of you who may know, because we were marked with yellow at one point, we were part of the gang over in Artal's server, which the gang, yeah, we've done some things. I don't know anything about the Edge Runners mission kit, so please do not say that we're bullshitting you. I don't know anything about it. The closest thing that I know right now for any future content is Shadow Scar. But that's because Emmerron got the media kit for it. Yep. No, we don't know anything about the CEMK. Nothing. So, with that said, let's go in. Let's talk first and foremost about the press release, because boy howdy, there is some stuff in here that, to my knowledge, and today I've been a little less connected than I was yesterday, where I was like, looking through every article, every single thing. There's some fun things in here. And I think it takes someone who has played the game, that is not just a media outlet for gaming period, to read between the lines and kind of understand what's being said. So, with that in mind, let's talk about it. So, top level, right? This is the stuff that you're probably going to find some of in the FAQ. Most of this probably actually is in the FAQ. What is the product? The mission kit is the new box set introduction to Cyberpunk Red. That is pretty much frontward, backward, what it is. It is a box set. It will have 3 books, totaling 120 pages between them. So these 3 books this time around. So for those of you who've been around a while, like Diamond and I have, you may remember the Cyberpunk Red Jumpstart Kit. Now, the Jumpstart Kit is a little different. It was more or less a beta release of the edition. It was not finalized rules. Everything we've been told about the CEMK is that these are full rules. This is not a beta like the JSK was. This is a game running on the Red engine. So Red's version of Interlock is the CEMK. It is going to work with your existing Red games. If you have Red characters and you want to use them in the game, they will work as written in the game. Now, with that said, so the first book that is important is the rules. Some of these will very likely just be reiterative for those of you who've played Red before. So things like the combat, I can't imagine are going to be that different. Things like, how cover and armor works, I can't imagine are going to be really different at all. But the things that they have noted that are going to be part of the rules, so we know there are 3 weapon types from 2077 that as of yet in Red we have not had, at least not mostly, right? We have power weapons, we have tech weapons, and we have smart weapons. Now, smart is kind of something we've had, but it's kind of weird. You need certain cyberware to use them right now. You need certain, really expensive ammunition to get it to work the way that it is right now. And so my guess is that it's going to depart from that a little bit. It's going to make it cheaper or something, because they are being listed as they have their own rules, right? So we have that. We also know quick hacking is going to be part of this. And I'm guessing that the rulebook is going to have rules for all of that. So Netrunners, you'll be able to finally quick hack. Those of you who've been by my channel or at my games and you've ever played a Netrunner, you're like, so I can quick hack. And I've told you, no, this is going to start to change that. So this is also going to have, the next book, a lore book.
And something that we know it per this press release that is going to be part of that is a timeline that connects the time of the red to the 2070s when Edge Runners in the video game take place. So this is really cool. Honestly, I'm really excited to kind of read what's there because we've gotten a little bit of that information in the past through the Cyberpunk 2077 World book that's published by Dark Horse. They gave us kind of the timeline starting in like, I think the 2060s is kind of the intervening time frame between Red and 77 that they have covered in there, which we've heard Mike Pondsmith and others talk at conventions about the fact that CDPR has control of the 2060s onward. So that makes sense because that's CDPR's side of the lore responsibility. We also know that we are going to have lore and backgrounds for David, Lucy, Rebecca, the rest of the Edge Runner crew. So we're going to know a lot more about these characters. And we've been told that it's going to expand beyond what they could really show on screen in the anime, which is very cool. I'm excited to see exactly what those stories entail. Because I feel like some of those characters, like Falco is a really great example. Kiwi is another that we just didn't get a lot of like on-screen time and like detail to really see them develop and really understand like who they were. So I'm hoping that this helps. So the other thing we have here is we have 7 Edge Runners, and we, through a little bit of detective work, have been able to work out which 7 roles we are getting, because it's 1 per role we're getting in the pre-mates. So Diamond, do you want to go down that list? Because I do not trust myself to recite it accurately.
So, I guess a better question is, which 3 did not make the cut? Those 3 that we determined are going to be exec, lawman, and media. They did not make the cut. So that leaves us with Solo, Rocker Boy, Nomad, MedTech, Tech, Fixer, and also Netrunner.
Beautiful.
And with that in mind, this also, brings up is just like, what about Fixers? Because something else that was brought up, and this is brought up in the Ask Me Anything with Jay Gray. And, techs, for all you tech mains that are out there, y'all are the spoiled child of the Cyberpunk Red, okay? You guys have everything that you want, finally. The way I see it is like every time we have an expansion of some form, or I guess in this case, a kit like this come out, every role, some roles get a buff, some roles get readjustments, other roles get left alone. Like Black Chrome, Nomads and Fixers got an adjustment, or a buff. Tech's also got a buff. Danger Gal Dossier, Tech's got a buff along with, honestly, Fixers and Media's having named contacts.
I do want to say those were less buffs and more clarifications. They were more like, focus your attention. This is what you can do with the role. It didn't really change how the role worked. It just like, I view it as like an expansion of the player and GM imagination. It just gave you a wider space to play in.
So, what I heard from Jay, or what I saw when I was reading through the AMA, Fixers, for you Fixer mains, you will be getting another readjustment. Because, as we all know from playing the game, the 2070s, scarcity is really not as much of an issue. So I wonder if it might be a callback to like what Fixers were back in 2020, or if you were looking for something of a certain street value or a certain legality that, or certain illegal item that you can't just pick up at your local, gun mart, or well, not gun mart, Budget Arms, I think is what is it called nowadays?
Budget Arms is a discount gun vendor.
And,
Yeah.
Second Amendment. You know, can't pick it up there. Probably your fixer knows where to find it. And, you know, netrunners are going to get the quick hacks. So, with that in mind, you guys are, for the most part, we're going to have all of, like, the mainly street level roles present.
Yeah.
With the exception of media.
Even media, I think by the time of 77, it becomes more and more corporatized.
Yeah.
I think Regina's friend Max that we help in a gig kind of illustrates the point that, like, the media just doesn't care anymore. If it's not pop media that can easily get clicks and views and all that, what the fuck are you even doing? You know? So yeah, media's dead in a way.
Yeah. Exactly. They say medias are out. Fixers are in these days in 2077.
Right.
And I do feel media still might have a place in the time of 2077.
Yeah.
We just don't know yet. Now,
Yeah.
I guess that some other things that are also coming in this book, by the way, or in this box.
Mm-hmm.
We are also getting Edge Runners themed dice. We're getting maps. And also standees with the new pre-gens that show up. Now, there was also a third book.
There is. So we covered rules. We covered there's a lore book. There is a third book. It is the jacket. Now, the jacket is a mission. One mission that we are going to be playing as these pre-gen characters in the kit. One last thing about the pre-gens, by the way, they are drawn. The art for them is drawn by Cyberpunk Edge Runners director Hiroyuki Imaishi. So it is that trigger art, and it's really pretty. If you go on Artel's website, you can see examples of what these look like. They're really, really, really pretty. So we are going to be getting a whole mission that these characters are going to go through. And while we don't know the individual page count of each book, something that I know Artel is kind of known for is they typically won't print another book unless the page count justifies it. So keeping in mind that this could be me wearing my tinfoil here, I've got my hat. I will wear it as I say this, because this is entirely Emmerron speculating. Do not take what I'm about to say as me knowing anything.
Let me put on the spectacles.
So, this is Emmerron's tinfoil hat time. I think if the jacket truly is big enough to justify a third book, that means all three of these books are probably roughly the same page count. If that is true, then that means this mission is going to be anywhere from 30 to 40 pages, maybe, for the book. And unless they pack a ton of unnecessary stuff in there where the mission's concerned, and by that, I don't mean that it's not needed. I mean that if you're a current Cyberpunk Red player, it'll be like rule reminder text or things like that maybe newer players won't know, because we saw plenty of that in the JSK. If it has a lot of that, then that might bulk the page count ever so slightly. But in Tales of the Red, so this is the crazy thing. Tales of the Red, the missions in there were roughly 15 pages each. And that included everything from the gig to the NPC stat blocks, everything that you need to run each of those missions. The longest mission that we have in Tales of the Red Street Stories is the two-part end of the book, which is Bathed in Red, One Red Night. They do go together. They are part 1 and part 2. So if you assume that that is one gig, I believe I counted the page count is roughly 40 pages when you include all the extra stuff. This means that the jacket could be the longest single mission we have ever received for Red to date. if the page count is roughly equal, which would be insane. And would be a wonderful start to the 2077 era on the tabletop. So
I suppose to clarify the jacket, it takes place after the finale of Cyberpunk Edgerunners.
Yep.
So if you have not watched Cyberpunk Edgerunners, which is the anime that came out back in 2022, I would highly recommend going and watching that anime.
We've got roughly a month. Yeah. You got roughly a month and a half, something in that neighborhood right now to get that watched and ready to you know, like, understand the magnitude of whatever we get. Because what we've been described, so let me so this is the way that the media release describes it. You'll meet new faces, some old ones too, as you step in to help recover some stolen iconic gear taken from a rather sentimental cowboy. Gee, I wonder who that is. So yeah,
Cassidy?
Cassidy? Yeah, no. No. Bottom line here, it's going to be a good one. Like, Artal is never ever disappointed with their mission writing. I, for one, am extremely excited to see what comes out of this. And it's also got multiple endings. So those of you who like gigs that can end many different ways, this is one of them, which is very, very exciting. So the other thing we're going to get in the box is a Night City map during the incidents of the jacket. So it'll be a 2076 map. This may or may not. So those of you, oh yeah, it is more visible now. Right here on my wall is a map of Night City that we got with 2077. I fully anticipate that map is going to look real similar to the Edgerunner kit. But we very well could be getting something more detailed. At this point, we just don't know. We are getting a map though. And again, Artal usually likes only printing stuff that matters, right? So I'm hoping it's going to be really nice and detailed, kind of like our red map is, and that we get a lot of stuff to kind of work with there, so that if we do want to use the kit beyond just running the jacket, we can do that to a greater degree, with like a degree of accuracy for certain locales and things. But yeah, let me see what next.
New cyberware also, by the way.
Yes, new cyberware. We've already been told about gorilla arms, mantis blades, monowire. We are going to be getting those added to the game with rules for them.
I thought we already had monowire.
We kind of do, but they have labeled it as new cyberware for the mission kit. So it might be an update, because we have like on and off stuff. You've got mono guard, you've got slice and dice. Yeah, but I think this one is going to be different based on the fact that they're calling it monowire. So we'll see. Obviously, again, we don't know anything, so it could be that it functions very similar.
Just, you know, just kind of speculating here for a sec. You know how we have, you know, the Mono 3, the Mono Wakizashi, the Mono Katana, which all ignore, like, you know, a certain SP point and lower.
Yeah.
I wonder if the Mono Wire is going to be a step up to the Slice and Dice.
Could be. We'll have to see. It could, I mean, it could be monofilament too, so working like you know, certain monofilament blades we haven't read already, like the Mono Katana, Mono Wakizashi, Mono 3, like it could adapt some of that armor ignoring potential, but again, we'll have to see. So this is the next thing. I kind of alluded to this earlier and kind of said a little on this earlier, but I want to make sure I drive this home and reiterate this as many times as I need to. This is not a new version of Cyberpunk. This is not a new edition. This is not a reboot. Red is not that old yet. We just got Red back in the end of 2020, right before the video game came out. This is not a new version of Cyberpunk. It is going to run on Red. All of the rules we have for Red are going to work with this mission kit. The things that this is adding are rules to align Red with the 77 era, but it sounds like those are more going to be adaptations than they are full-on changes or like systematic differences like we saw between 2020 and Red. These are going to just be translations, it sounds like, for the most part, one to the other. Existing Red games can be adapted to the 2070 setting and vice versa if a GM wishes to. If a player has experience with Cyberpunk Red, they'll feel very comfortable playing with what's available in the box. While it is designed to be a standalone product, it was also designed to be the new starter kit for Cyberpunk Red simultaneously. It is also only a taste of what is to come for the setting of Cyberpunk 2077. So, we know this isn't the end. This is the beginning. They have told us that we are going to, at some point, undisclosed in the future, be getting a 2077 setting book. So we will get more rules there. We've been told deep dive net running is not going to be a function of the mission kit. So that's one of those things that we may have to wait for the full setting book to actually come out to get that. And that's okay. Again, like, I've been asking for a deep dive system for Red for a long time. And I will wait longer to make sure that it is done correctly and that it works as wonderfully easily as Red's net running system currently does. Because I love Red's system and how easy it is. So the other high-end details here. The planned release window for Cyberpunk Red, or the Cyberpunk Edgerunners mission kit, is mid to late June. So we know it is coming out sometime between the middle and end of June, unless there is some sort of production delay. At this point, they've sent it off to be printed, and it'll just need to be printed and then shipped to them. Once they have it, it will be available on their website and simultaneously available in digital format through, they've said, through Drive-Thru RPG, I believe is what they're planning on distributing it to. Diamond, please correct me if I'm wrong about that.
I think there was mention of Edgerunners mission kit going to Drive-Thru RPG.
I've got it here in the media packet. Yeah, it is Drive-Thru RPG.
Great.
Yeah, we're good on that. Okay, cool. So it'll be on their web store for the physicals. It'll be available through Drive-Thru RPG for anyone to pick it up digitally if you want to do that. We do not know what the digital price point is as of yet. Additionally, virtual tabletops for Roll20 and Fantasy Grounds, those versions of it are going to be released at a later date. We do not know when those are coming out yet, but as with most of their products, there is a bit of a delay. So we'll follow, but we don't know when yet. We don't have an estimate on it. We don't know what digitals are going to cost, but we know that the MSRP for the physical version of the box is $35 USD.
There's usually a general rule of thumb with RTAL, and when they do when they do this, usually the price is going to be half the cost of, like, the price of the physical item. The PDF is going to be about half the cost. Let me go check, because the Jumpstart kit used to be $35, if I remember correctly. It was like $35 or $40.
The digital is $30 on Drive-Thru.
Oh.
Or was. It was. Now it's been discounted $10, and been that way for some time.
Usually I've noticed that, like, when it hits that, like, they usually go for like half the cost via PDF compared to the physical copy. Like each PDF of the expansions of Cyberpunk Red have cost 20, and the PDF compared to the core book costs 30.
Yeah. So, so with that in mind, we'll see. We don't know yet, because this could also eschew that standard, just from the standpoint that like you're not getting dice with the digital, because those are on offer for the physical. You're not getting feet for the standees with the digital. So like there are some physical components that aren't part of a typical book release that are elements in the physical release this time. So we'll see. We will see how this shakes out, how the pricing works. We'll probably know more as we get closer. Again, this was all just rolled out Monday. Like everything we're talking about this week on the podcast is extremely fresh information. It is not something we've had for very long. The other thing that they wanted to note is that right now is an insanely busy time for RTG. So beyond the Cyberpunk Edgerunners mission kit, they also want to point out that this year is going to be packed with some additional releases. We have the Cyberpunk Red book, Tales of the Red, Forlorn Hope, which is going to be an expansion of one of their kind of mission books from 2020 into the Time of the Red. We are going to be getting Shadow Scar by Cody Pondsmith. Those of you who are listening to this on my channel on YouTube, we did do an actual play. Diamond was part of that as a player, where we ran the free RPG Day easy mode, Eyes in the Darkness. That's going to be coming out on June 22nd. So actually, ironically, probably right around the same time frame that this is coming out. And then we got to play that a little early. It's a great system. I'm loving Shadow Scar. I cannot tell you how excited I am to see what we get further this year from that. But the first one is coming out for free. First release of that system in any form is going to be the easy mode at Free RPG Day. And that is going to be leading Gen Con by a little bit here. So we might see some more things come out of Gen Con. We don't know for sure yet what they have planned. We do know that they're doing Shadow Scar games at Gen Con. We also see that they've got play demos for another new game that their 5x Infinity line that James Hutt runs is releasing, Fossilized Violence. We've seen demos for that go up for Gen Con. So any of you who are listening to this who are going to be at Gen Con, number one, I will be there. If everything goes right, Diamond will also be there. And we will be working the game room. So if you want to come by and say hi to us, we will love to hang out with you guys, say hi to you, try to do some stuff while we're all there. We'll be running games. I'll be helping run things, make sure the game room's going smoothly. But yeah, that's all coming this year. We have Shadow Scar, we have the new Cyberpunk mission book, we have Fossilized Violence. And beyond that, there's also just a ton of other things on the horizon at this point. We already know that on some level they're already thinking at least about the 2077 setting book. And there were some things discussed in the AMA yesterday as well that at this point I kind of want to just hand it over to Diamond to talk about the highlights of the AMA, because again, I have not had the opportunity to really dive deep into it, and I'd love to kind of know what her spark notes from that are. So what exactly did I miss out on by not reading this thing before our show today?
All right, so Jay Gray hadn't asked me anything while over on Reddit here a day ago. And to clarify, there were some things, as per usual, Jay will not talk about stuff that RTG hasn't even announced. He will ignore questions as they go. But I suppose some major things that were brought up, and this one got brought up again and again, like quick hacking. How will it fit in the framework of the game? Now, some things that were talked about is that for new people that are in here, this is a starter box, and like any others, it will be a demo version. And also, of course, the rules will not be quite as expansive or comprehensive in the Edge Runners mission kit as it probably will be if you had the core rules. Now, also in regards to net running, James Hutt apparently took a lot of time to figure out what worked best in Edge Runners mission kit for quick hacking, and has officially came up with rules for it down the road here. So that's going to be interesting to see, like, what all can be done against quick hackers, because I got a feeling there's got to be some push and pull when it comes to that. One of the other things that was talked about was tech, smart, and power weapons. Yes, all three will be available coming in the kit. It's unknown how. I don't know how it's going to happen. I'm just wondering if, like, maybe it's going to be like a specified tech upgrades, or like how we have specific tech upgrades in the core rulebook. It's just a thought I had.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, because they're more than just an upgrade in the video game, and obviously, video game and tabletop are two very different things. But when you pick up a weapon and it's designed to do like something in the power tech or smart trifecta, it is notably like, this is what this gun is for, right? It's designed a very particular way, is designed to do a very specific sort of task, interact with the game in a very specific way. And we don't really have that in Red yet. Like, even when you add like weapon attachments and stuff, it doesn't really function quite the same way, or give you that notable sense of like a distinct difference between using a gun without the attachment versus using one with. Most of them are like incremental bonuses or something like that, or it adds like a function like underbarrel grenade launchers, for example, just adds an underbarrel that you can fire grenades with. So with that in mind, like, I'm hoping for something a little more than an attachment personally, but again, we'll have to see how it works, because we know that we're getting rules for how those classifications work. It doesn't sound like they're just giving us weapons that have the category. It sounds like we're getting like the whole class. We're getting taught like how that's going to work.
Yeah. So the experimental Sandevistan. The one that David Martinez has.
The one that everyone's freaking out about because, oh my god, it's going to be the end of the game. That one. That David Martinez Sandevistan.
That Sandevistan was very expensive and has a lot of passion put behind it. With that certain Sandevistan, it's also going to be very deadly, apparently, to Jay. And I don't want to speculate too hard onto this, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be one of those that, I'm trying to think, what would it be? Would it just be like you're continuously boosting around, and then finally you get hunted down, or you just get put down?
Things we know from the anime regarding it. David took damage, physical damage, if he used it too much. We know that it was powerful enough to like allow him to basically move like the world around him was standing still. But again, we will have to see kind of how that gets defined in game terms. But we know that at the bare minimum, there is a physical cost to using it with regard to like David passing out and stuff like that. So it may cause actual damage. That's a theory I've heard thrown around a lot.
Also, another thing that has been brought up again and again in the Reddit, there are still big plans for 2045. because some folks were checking. Partially because I think they've been waiting on trying to post a meme. And, well, I guess it finally caught up with them. Sorry, a little side tangent there. But something else that I did notice. Don't worry, 2045s will be sticking around. There is. Yeah. Trying to think. We got. Oh, yes, that's where I was going with this. Jay Gray normally never talks about anything unless it's been announced by RTG.
Yes.
If any of you know this rule, Jay is very good about following it. Jay has talked about something. Now, I want to believe that Jay full on is being, serious here. There is talks of Rusted Chrome coming down the line. Now, to understand what Rusted Chrome is, for any of you who may not know what Rusted Chrome is,
it got talked about a long time ago. A long time ago.
And since then, it kind of just hung in the air like a haze. Nobody really knew if it was an actual thing or if this was just something that the community kind of boiled up at one point. Mm-hmm. Unless you were somebody that was in the know. I wasn't sure. I thought that it was something that was talked about at one point. I thought I was going bananas for the longest time over this whole thing.
But no. It's been confirmed.
He talked about it.
Yep.
Also, something else that was discussed. ACPAs. One thing that's been pressing on my mind. It makes sense if it's something you can't answer. But is there a chance that we might see the official rules for ACPAs again? Not sure. I don't remember what the exact acronym is for ACPA. Assisted Combat Personnel Armor. Basically, like power armor.
Yeah.
Now, I talked about this during stream this morning, where James Hutt, when we were having an interview with him, James Hutt said that FBCs were going to be the power ceiling. I am curious to where this is going to fall in the whole matter.
I think in 2020, ACPAs were like the notch below an FBC. Like, it's like if you wanted to have the power of an FBC without giving yourselves over to just being a full-on machine, you got a hold of an ACPA.
And the other thing as well is that it sounded like they were operated as vehicles.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They're like one man tanks. One man tanks is pretty much what an ACPA is, as far as I've understood it. Because again, I'm not terribly well read on 2020 and its system and the book supporting it, but my understanding of the ACPAs are that they are they're like one man. They're like a cross between like a vehicle and power armor, where they're like a one man tank. Is kind of the way I've understood them.
Also, another thing that Jay Gray talks about, any updates to lifestyle costs. There isn't an update to lifestyle costs. However, lifestyle and humanity will be intersecting finally.
Oh, God.
Now,
yes.
Now, like, what I was thinking is, like, probably that, because one of the things that's talked about in Cyberpunk Red is living in terrible conditions for long amounts of time will reduce your humanity. I wonder if this is going to give a much stronger clarification of what lifestyle and housing qualifies for humanity loss or even humanity gain.
Because does he talk about humanity gain in that, or are you just speculating? Speculation. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like that'd be kind of wild if we got humanity gain, because right now that's a pretty hard check on the it's a pretty hard check cost wise on the games
I
like
swear
penalties.
I swear it was mentioned somewhere. Somebody made mention to the possibility of it. And like this was something that had just kind of been speculated on between chat and other folks that maybe, just maybe, there's a possibility life gets better. Also, 2077 sourcebook.
Yep.
When did that actually get mentioned? Like, at one point, Mike mentioned something about it. When? I don't remember when he mentioned it.
I think he might have mentioned it at Gen Con last year. If I could dig out my old notes, because I have my notebooks here somewhere. I just need to find them. He may have mentioned it during Gen Con last year. If not, it was earlier on, but we've heard repeatedly that one is coming between Rob and Jay over on the Discord for the last like 24, 48 hours. Like,
all right. So
yeah.
It is on the way. Now, I just wonder with that 2070s book, are we going to possibly see a lot more? Like they talk about like how do the events of 2077 impact that book? And right now, it sounds like the events of 2077 are going to have minimal impact on what's in the book. Probably outside, except maybe a couple things of like when V probably does the major events across all the timelines.
Yeah.
So, with that in mind, there's possibility. I joked about it with Emmerron at one point, making V a hardened boss for the 2070s. And like there's just multiple variants of V.
Well, we already know that he is kind of a character in the what's it called, Combat Zone rendition of the 77 Edge Runners of set they're releasing. Yeah, well, they kind of are. They kind of are. They're the way LCC described it, because LCC, Lord Jesus Crust, for those of you who don't know him, is someone that Diamond and I hang out with quite frequently, and he's a member of the Foundry VTT team for Cyberpunk Red System, because that group is all volunteers. They are not sponsored in any way by Artel Saurian Games. But he has said he tried a demo session that someone had of the Cyberpunk Edge Runners Combat Zone set, and that they had V in there, but basically whenever V went to take territory or something, they automatically won. And if they died, they didn't. Like, it was kind of the way he described it. So I didn't get like the nitty gritty game detail, like what that looks like in gameplay, but like, because I haven't played Combat Zone, but from what he described it as, yeah, V was inevitable, is what it sounds like. He is the one who knocks hard with explosives. Like, that's it.
All right. One other thing that was also brought up. Is there a possibility of something akin to an updated Night City sourcebook? According to Jay Gray, yes. Now, we've talked about it. Tales of the Red kind of does that to a degree. But I wonder if, like the Night City sourcebook, I imagine that's looking at each neighborhood with a magnifying glass.
Well, if I can slide out from underneath all the shit I got on my desk right now, I can. This is the Night City sourcebook for 2020. This has a breakdown of everything you could ever want to know about Night City in the year of 2020. It's got where you get medical services, it's got your data services, it's got what the combat zones are, which gangs control which neighborhoods, which corporations are located where. It's literally everything you could ever want to know about Night City. And yeah, Diamond, like you were saying, we have gotten a bunch of this kind of info scattered throughout multiple things. So we've gotten the data pack, which does have some stuff in it. We've got Tales of the Red Street Stories, which also gives us a glimpse into every district and some POIs. We've also gotten things like our Conapt and Cube Hotel / Cargo Container DLCs that like tell us here are some places people live. We've also gotten things like Valhalla that kind of explain like this is what a district is like outside of Valhalla. We've also gotten a bunch of other DLC mentions of like the different parts of the city that those things take place in. So like over time, we've collected quite a bit of this kinds of information, but yeah, having like a collected and sort of definitive answer to like where is what and you know, where do I go to find medical aid if I'm in the university district, because Crisis is on the opposite side of the main island of the city in the middle of a combat zone, and fuck it, I'm bleeding out here and I need to get medical aid immediately. Where do I go for medical help? Hopefully that kind of a book would answer that for us.
Let's see. Trying to think what other things were talked about for Edge Runner's mission kit as well. Because I like a lot of the things that people were asking about was just, you know, the possible like weapon styles like smart, power, and tech, which from what it sounds like, and a lot of what I'm going out on a limb and guessing here is probably speculation, and I don't think it would be far-fetched to say it's probably gonna be a tech upgrade.
For what?
Like, you know, to make something a tech weapon or a power weapon or a smart weapon. Yeah, you gotta go see your tech and get a tech upgrade for it.
We'll see. Yeah, that is something that I think largely we'll just have to wait to see. So let me see here. All right. So with that said, let's go over the FAQ. So this comes from the Artel Story Games Discord.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm gonna cover everything in here because it's not a ton, but it's gonna serve as reiteration if you're catching late or something, or you weren't paying attention before. This is again your invitation to listen up, you primitive screwheads. So first and foremost, the CEMK is a starter box, which means it is a complete product. You can buy it and play the included mission without owning anything else, including the Cyberpunk Red core rulebook. The base rules are those of Cyberpunk Red. Nothing has changed. What's in the CEMK is fully compatible with Cyberpunk Red. The new rules introduced new weapons, new cyberware, quick hack, and a few other surprises are again fully compatible with Cyberpunk Red. This means that the CEMK can also function as a sourcebook for Cyberpunk Red for those looking for 2070 era material. There is also a mission in the CMK. It has not been run at any convention. It is a thick mission, and unless you're playing at super speed, it will require multiple sessions to finish. The CEMK is not a new core rule system or an update to the existing Cyberpunk Red rule system. It is a good source for lore, though. It is a good source for lore through the 2070s, and the first stop for new gear and rules specific to the 2070s era. Again, the MSRP is $35 USD for the physical release. Again, we have no pricing yet for digital storefronts or the VTT digitals that will be available down the road. The size is 120 pages across 3 books, plus maps and pre-gens. You know, all that fun stuff that they've got in the box. On translations, we've only just confirmed it going to printers, and for translations, that's up to individual publishers that they use in those regions, which will, you know, want to carry those. So if you know English, if that isn't a language you understand, and you want this ASAP, English will probably be out well before any other languages, just because that is where Artel is an American company and they release all their products in English first. Next, the Cyberpunk Edgerunners mission kit is not available for pre-order. As per all of our releases, it is only available on release day. So no, you cannot get this early. It will release simultaneously for order for physical and for digital. we are not answering questions about the planned Cyberpunk 2077 setting book at this time. So again, we have gotten to confirm that there is a book coming for that. They are not answering questions about that. A press release will be going out this morning as planned. So that is what I've just been kind of reading from earlier in this segment of our podcast. Yes, David Sandevistan is in the Cyberpunk Edgerunners mission kit. No, we will not reveal further details about it. Jay revealed a few tiny tidbits about it, it sounds like, as the AMA kind of progressed. But beyond those things, we are not hearing anything more, at least not at this time. And finally, this is something that is less about the contents, more about the usual retail woes that people have when something new comes out. I'm thankful so many people, so this is Rob speaking, right? I'm thankful so many people are worried it'll sell out. And while, to be fair, it is an extremely popular product. We'll just see what happens when it does drop. Remember, though, that there's no real way we can predict sales. Even the core rulebook sold out multiple prints. We know how popular this is, and we're taking steps that come from doing this as well. And we're taking steps that come from doing this as well for years. If we do sell out, we order more to print, and there's no way a digital version will sell out either. So, if you want to get your hands on this, digital will absolutely be there from day zero. We will have the digital. But they are fully predicting they will have more than enough physical copies to cover demand. If it does happen to sell out, they will print more. They've done it before. We've seen this core rulebook get reprinted many times. The other thing is that they've also said recently, and this is separate from the Edgerunner mission kit, it's something equally exciting that I know all of you Cyberpunk fans out there are going to want to know. The data screen, aka the GM screen that we have for Cyberpunk Red, is finally being printed. They have ordered prints of that very recently. I think within the last week, those were also sent to be printed. So if you've been waiting for your own physical copy of the Cyberpunk Red data screen, I was lucky and got one of the initial print. But if you are missing yours still and you want one, they are at the printers. We do not know when they're coming out yet, but they have been sent to the printers. If they follow the same timeline as the CEMK, we may be seeing those in the next month or so. But again, we don't actually have a timeline on those. We've not got one official from RTG. I'm speaking strictly because they've given us a print window for this, and the other one was released or notified to us about that same time. So keep your eyes on the horizon. Both are coming soon, TM. We do not have a hard date on it. RTG only very rarely ever gives us a hard release date for anything. And it's typically once everything else has gone through and they know for a fact that we are getting it on the day they're saying, because they do not want to disappoint anybody. So yeah, that is kind of the long and short, I think, of the CEMK and what we know so far, 2 days in to its announcement of going to print. Diamond, is there anything further that I've missed that you want to add?
I don't know. I've been kind of sitting here speculating and thinking over like what there is to come. Like, I don't know. I guess for me, like seeing like there being like new ways to upgrade, which Cyberpunk, we will be answering that question at the end of this. But like, how do we integrate this into 2045? Like, I heard about this humanity system that finally there's gonna be something that intersects. Like, your shitty lifestyle makes you a shitty person. I like that idea. I don't know. There's something about that. I was cooking up a homebrew on this. And I want to clarify, I'm not saying that Artal stole my idea, but I had this thing cooking where, you know, the better you ate, the better you felt about yourself. So, you know...
It's probably true to reality, honestly.
Like, I mean, yeah, it's like, you know, it's just, you know, based off, you know, current day science where, you know, the better your diet, the better you are going to be personally. Okay, the occasional fast food doesn't hurt, but
I just flashed it for Prepper Jack. He's like, McDonald's made me do it. I'm like, McDonald's absolutely made me do it too. I'm right there with you, buddy.
I mean, because think about it. Like you being someone, stuffing yourself into a cube hotel and eating nothing but whatever the fuck Continental Brands puts into the package.
True.
I don't know about you. I think it would drive me a little batshit crazy. Might make me a little more temperamental.
There was for those of you in my Discord, there was I think it was posted to the memes chat of my Discord. I'm gonna double check it. If it's not there, I'll put it there. But it was something that our friend Valkyrie posted about. Oh yeah, it is there. It's from a YouTube channel called Flesh Simulator, and the title of the video is "Can People Eat Monkey Kibble?" And the way the guy reacts in that video, I'm not going to spoil it, but that sounds about right based on how they describe kibble in Red. You cannot tell me that eating that every day as a main staple of your diet is going to be good for your mental health. It is probably the furthest thing from that. So yeah, I mean, hearing that lifestyle and maybe where you live affects your humanity in the long term, I'd believe it. 100% I believe it. Abso-fucking-lutely. If I had to live like shit every day, that would suck ass. So yeah.
So that makes me wonder if we're gonna intersect it to where I'm going out there. If it's like going off like the homebrew I've been cooking, where like if you live on the kibble diet for like upwards of 5 months, you start every month going down a D6. It's kind of like what I was thinking, like upwards of, because like Time of the Red, I kind of understand you got to work with what you got, but I'd imagine like say maybe you got good pre-pack. You've been living off good pre-pack for a little bit. Maybe, just maybe, you feel a little bit better about yourself. That, it's a thought.
Sure.
That, slowly, over time, you get like, I don't know, either a D6 or whatever a static might be of a D6. Like, what is that, 3?
Static, the average, take an average would be 3.
So, after your third month, you get 3 humanity back. I don't know, maybe if you get out of your cargo container and move up to a studio. Like, maybe if you take, actually, I wonder if, when you take moments to improve your life.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to dive too far off the deep end speculating, because we'll know what this, we'll know what we do and don't get for that sort of a system in like a month and a half ish, if everything holds the way that it should.
Yeah. I foil had it a little bit, but but it's all speculation. It's all thought. I'm just excited to see it because I've wanted players to have a reason to improve their life.
Yeah, like lifestyle improvement is definitely one of those things in Red that I feel like
it's been neglected.
It's not. I don't know that it's been neglected, but we've been seeing things bolted onto it over time, from like additional privileges you get as a player because you can just afford to budget for like an extra ride every week somewhere, or like you can go out to do bigger and better things, or you could even stay like as expensive as staying at like a hotel once per month without worrying about the extra cost.
Prepper Jack has a point. That is the big thing I liked out of that DLC, breaking your stuff.
Yep.
Because, don't get me wrong, having all these privileges put out for your edge runners, great. But they're not really going to have much of a motivation outside that.
Right, exactly. I mean, I think anything that expands the humanity system in Red is good. I have spent far too much time running certain characters where I was not I was not phased about being at 5 humanity for a long time on one of my characters, and anything that makes me scared to be at that is good, honestly, because it should be scary. It should be like David flashing out. Like,
what other thing I saw? I remembered this, Wireheads. So, of course, 2077. Where's your cyber deck go? It goes somewhere in your body. I don't know where exactly it goes.
Believe it's your neck, because that's where all your neural ports and stuff are, and it's shown as like a shard.
Somebody asked why NPCs still have external cyber decks. Jay Gray said that external cyber decks will still have a use, most likely your hardware. So I am glad to see that that such good cyber decks don't go to waste.
Mm-hmm.
But that also means we can't light people. We can't just firebolt someone in Frizzbolt? No, not Frizzbolt. Hellbolt. Can't just Hellbolt someone. God damn it.
I mean,
God damn it.
Well, that remains to be seen. It just means that hardware, like, because I believe that we've been told like the neck is where V's cyberdeck goes while they're hacking and stuff. And again, it looks like a data shard when you look at the icons and stuff for it in the video game. So that being the case, a couple things we all already know is that neuroports are a thing. And neuroports seem to have certain sorts of cyberware integrated into them already. Shard slots, we know, are one of them. So it's quite possible that obviously that form factor is going to make it so hardware doesn't work. So yeah, if you're running hardware on a physical deck and backing up an implanted neuroport based cyber deck, then that would be a little different, I think. But that being the case, that doesn't say that we can't run programs on a neuroport deck. It just means that might look a little different. Space might be a little more compact. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see when we get the quick hack rules and all of that stuff related to net running in 77.
My thought is just like, I think it'd be kind of fun if they find a way to like connect the two. Like you got your ARM deck, that plug that in. Ooh, all the programs. Sorry.
It could be fun.
Like,
yeah. So just so Diamond doesn't explode in a pile of speculative bits.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So she and I even talked about this before the show. It's like, all right, we're going to try not to speculate because people will take it and run with it like it's fact. It is not. Nothing we talked about. If we've said it's speculation on here, we 100% promise you it is entirely speculation. Do not take anything. Yeah. Do not look and say, well, Emmerron and Diamond said on Wireheads episode 9, the only things we know are what we have quoted back to RTG's press release and Jay Gray's AMA. That is all we know. That is all we have as fact. Anything beyond that is purely speculation on our part. It has no reflection on anything that we know of actual knowledge. Not even a little bit. So, with that said, so at this point in the podcast, we are just about an hour deep, I believe, little past that maybe. So this is the time where we are going to switch over, if you're watching this on YouTube later, from my channel to Diamond's. So that way we can go ahead and look at our second topic of the week. So I will see you all over there, everybody. Peace.
Yep. I'm going to grab some water, so
we'll do
that real quick.